Hello and welcome to 10pence Arcade Video Review. My name is Victor Marland, aka Vertvic. Now this is quite a rare occurrence doing a video. I don't do them very often, but I've got something to show you. Now there's a little story behind this. The London gaming market a few Sundays ago, I was sat down talking to some podcast chums outside the venue, and I was talking to a guy called Chris from a company called Numskull. Now you may have heard of Numskull before, especially if you listen to our podcast. They hold licenses to produce official merchandise. Now we're talking Taito, specifically Space Invaders, Atari, Sega and Namco, in this instance Pac-Man. There's no knockoffs here, it's all officially licensed stuff. They also cover Marvel, PlayStation, Xbox, Rick and Morty and loads of other stuff you can see on their website, which I'll put in the show notes. Now for this video we're going to be concentrating on that Namco Pac-Man license. Numskull have their first quarter arcade out already, which is the Pac-Man, and I've actually used one before. My friend Alex's, who's Nintendo Arcade, he was given one a while back to review, and he did on his website and his video reviews. And my first impressions of it back then, I had a quick go of it, were pretty good. But after Chris had listened to me at the London gaming market banging on about EEPROMs and CPUs and stuff about arcade machines, he must have thought, oh, this guy knows his onions, let's give him one of our Pac-Mans to review. So here we are. Hold on a minute, that's a bit small. Let's get that one. I'll stand back this one. Look at that. Now, let's put it to one side for now. As I'm like a big kid in a portable sweet shop, I've unboxed it already, as you can see, but the first signs when I got the box were good. Postage and packaging is included in the price in the UK. Other countries may vary, but you can get worldwide shipping on it. So if you're outside the UK, you can get hold of one quite easily. They will send it to you. Now the main box, the main fancy box, is protected by a double thick cardboard box on the outside of it, and it certainly protected the unit when I got it. It was no damage at all. It was brilliant. Now these guys really know their market, and it comes in a nice box like this. You might want to sort of display with your stuff when you're not playing the game. Really nice looking thing. Look at that. It's really well. Good box. I like a good box. So opening it up and you're greeted to a shiny collector's medal. Look at the quality on this thing. Look at that. Like a little memento. Not really my kind of thing, but it's nice anyway. It's really nicely. Nice decent box, decent sized metal medallion, it's really cool. So I need to get to the game though. So I got inside the game and you have the main unit itself. It's a quarter size Pac-Man upright arcade machine, modelled on the 1980 classic from Namco, released in the US and other areas by Midway. As I'm a professional CNC aircraft engineer, I make parts for aircraft, I'm always sceptical when someone says, oh, it's XX scale. Is it exactly quarter arcade? Not sure about that. It looks it. So was it just most to scale? So if you look at similar machines, but in a much lower class of machine than this, you like the Walmart exclusive. I also collect a few of, which I've got in the arcade. They just look nice on the shelf. I don't really play them that much. You can get them, and this is what these look like, and this is sort of out of the box at the moment. The box is sort of like this. It's quite a nice looking little thing. They're a lot smaller obviously, and this is what you get. So it's all right looking thing. It's plastic, $20, but usually you get a console chip of the game, which is I think in this case on Ms. Pac-Man is a NES version if it's on a chip. So it's pretty cheap, Chinese made. It's not great, but for $20, it's not too bad. But also, you have to get these from Walmart in the US. They're not in the UK. You can't get them in the UK, even though Walmart is Asda, basically. As you can see with this arcade cabinet, the dimensions are all over the place. If that was sort of, you know, the bit where you stand at in an arcade and that was the screen, it's way out of proportion. It's not quite right. Look at the size of the buttons on it. They'd be like 4 inches in diameter. They're that size on a real machine. It's huge. Obviously they make it so you can play it because it's just a small thing. And I also think that those Walmart exclusives, it's all the same shaped box it comes in with different colours and obviously different decals all over it. I think they're exactly the same, and some of them got 2 buttons or whatever, and Cubert's got the, you know, the different joystick on it. So without further ado, let's do some live measuring. If this isn't trending on social media tomorrow, my name is not Miranda. A large vernier caliper from work, because my one wasn't big enough for this. Let's measure the width first. That is 157.8 millimeters. And by my calculations, going from the quarter size the machine it's supposed to be from a real cab, it should have been 157.16. It's pretty good, within a millimeter. Now the depth, sorry, is, let's do the depth down here. Just see that, 209 that is. And for my calculation, should have been 209.55. It's only half a mil out that one. And if I get my large ruler, I'll do the height of it as well. And the height is, we'll say 428 millimeters. And, 427 within a millimeter again. That's pretty good. And if we just measure the joystick, the ball top on the joystick, that is also within about half a millimetre of where it should be. That's pretty good. So as you can see, the dimensions are pretty good to the original machine, quarter scale down. And even the sides of the machine, the thickness is here, is 5 millimetres. And an arcade cab would have been 3/4 of an inch, which is 1905, so it's nearly a quarter again there. It's pretty good. Now, the artwork on this is no cheap ass stuff. I mean, this is actually, I think, bonded to the wood, and it's proper wood as well. So you've got the really lovely sides, exactly the same as an arcade machine. You've got the top flash here, which actually lights up. There's an LED light behind it. Same on the sides. Lovely artwork down the bottom where the kick plate is. You've even got a sort of fake coin door with buttons on it, which is the credit buttons. So moving on to the actual game itself, you've got the joystick there, the buttons, decals, instructions around the side. It's even got a bezel on the LCD screen. It's got a bezel around it to sort of make it look nice. On the back, you've got some little sort of plate at the top telling what it is and everything. And then the bottom, you've got a volume control, USB charging point, LED light, and an on-off switch. And little grills at the back, just like an arcade machine. The most important thing I keep telling the listeners on the podcast is when you play a four-way game, up, down, left, right, like Pac-Man, you need to have a four-way gate. If you can go diagonals on a game, you will miss your up, down, left, right sometimes, especially when you're going around a maze quickly. And this thing has got, I'm not sure if you can hear it or see it, see it clicks into position. It's got the four-way gate behind it, which is essential to this game. It really is essential. Now the gate thing is a physical plate that goes underneath the joystick, which in it's sort of a square on 45 degrees. So the stick actually goes into those corners and it can't be misled into a diagonal. So that works really nicely. So when you're playing this game, you cannot blame your tools. You really can't. It's going to work. Now I think I'm going to start calling this machine a cab from now on, because it does look like a cabinet to me, and it looks like it's been made like a cabinet. Now the cab has a non-working coin door, as you can see, but it has got the physical buttons on it for credits, because you're not going to be putting 10p's in it, or it says 25 cents on there. No, 10p's, 10p's. We're in the UK. It's even got like fake the T-moulding around the side, which was orange on a Pac-Man cab. Really nice attention to detail. That, as I said earlier, the flash here has actually got a light behind it, and it's not got one of those. Because in the old arcade machine, it would have actually been a fluorescent bulb, and it used to burn out the decals from behind because it was painted on a lot of them. Not like with this one; it's going to last quite a while. Now I'm going to start this thing up in a second, but I just remembered this thing is USB, and you can USB charge it, so you can play it without the wire in the back. I could take this on the tube or on the bus. Oh, I would be the coolest cat in town. Now I'm going to start the game up, and as your first thing you'll notice when I hit the switch around the back, marquee light comes on, you get a Numskull and a little Pac-Man logo come up. That's not on the official machine, but this is the self-test on a PCB, and then the rug pattern. Then you go right into the track mode like that. Now the track mode on this one is silent, so it's going to be pretty good. It's not making too much noise when you're not playing it. But you're not going to leave on a track mode for that long, I wouldn't have thought, unless it's just sort of sat around. So let's pop a 10p in it, ignore the fact this quarter's on there, and see what happens. Oh, 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 listen to that sound. Brilliant. 1 or 2 players. I'm going to attempt to have a quick game. Try not to knock the camera over. Oh yeah, that joystick feels really good. Oh, come on. Oh, there's a cherry, I want that. Ah! Nom. Oh. Have that, monsters. Yes. Perfect Pac-Man coming up. Okay. Got another cherry. I want to get that one, I think. I want the cherry! Cherries. Ah! I'm going. Oh, Pinky. Oh, yes, have that! I'm out of here. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's getting faster. Did that note change? Yes. How about you blue swines? Oh, I'm going all of them again. Come here. Yay! Come on. Come on. Can I get it? It's the reversal then. That does it in the arcade machine as well. It's absolutely spot on. There you go, there's a level done. Brilliant. Now let's have a look around the machine. The best thing about, well, some of the good things about this machine is the speaker is actually up here inside, which is the same as an arcade machine. And it doesn't sound quite as bassy as an original arcade machine, but I think that's because inside of a machine was much more acoustic sized and obviously got big speakers, but it's pretty good. It's not tinny at all. And one of the best things, apart from the joystick, which is the 4-way thing I spoke about earlier, is the orientation of the screen. It's vertically orientated, like Pac-Man was, and a lot of machines like that warm-up one I showed you earlier, it's horizontal. It wasn't right. Vertical is the way these games were supposed to be played. Now I've been assured that the software on it, or the emulator that's running, is 100%, and it's been passed off by Namco Bandai themselves. But unless it's a really good FPGA emulation, actually emulating the chips, not just the software ROMs, you're never going to get it 100%. But trying to get a 39-year-old game's hardware and software working on a single board computer, which is what's inside this machine, is impossible. It really is impossible. I've got a good mind to send this to my friend John Studley, and he is a perfect Pac-Man player. A perfect game, in short, is playing the game without losing any lives, missing or making any mistakes, getting all the cherries, all the fruit, all the ghosts every time you can actually get them. Up until a certain point you can eat the ghosts, but after a while they just turn around. They don't even go blue anymore, so you can't get them. And after about 3 million odd points, you get to the 255th level, and then 256th level it crashes, and you get a split screen down the middle. So half the maze is normal, and the rest of it is just full of junk. And I'll let you go and have a look for yourself about Perfect Pac-Man. But John can do this. He can actually finish the game, complete it until it crashes, and you can't get any further in the game. And if John knows anything different about the gameplay, he would know. He would definitely know. If you cut John, he bleeds power pills. True fact. Now, I've been told by Numskull that the game has been tested to ensure a perfect game is actually possible, including the split screen at the end. So, as you can see in my game, I completed a level without losing a life, which is pretty good for me, but it's a lot harder than I remember. And there is a good excuse for that, or, I mean, a reason, I suppose. Now, when I was a kid, I always remember 2 versions of Pac-Man and the follow-up Ms. Pac-Man 2. There was normal speed, which is what this one is. It's like the arcade machine as far as they can get it, 100%, nigh on. And there was a speed up version of Pac and Ms. Pac, I remember as a kid. And over in America, if you play Ms. Pac-Man over there, I think every single machine apart from the ones in FunSpot I've ever played have been the speed up version, because it was an easier game to play. It made your character go really fast, but the ghosts just went at normal speed, so you could outrun them really easily. And it was just a sort of game of going around the maze, and it was more of an endurance game, but it was a lot of fun still. And easier for kids, I suppose, as well. People who are not that good at arcade games. Because on Speed Up Pac-Man, I can get over 100,000 easily. I mean, that'd be impossible for me to do on a normal machine. Now, moving on to the actual software inside the cab, I've been told it's an emulator that doesn't use MAME. It was actually a scratch-built emulator they had done by Numskull. And the unit originally came shipped with the game set to hard, which was a massive problem when it first came out. And it had 5 lives as standard and an extra life, I think, at 15,000, which is not standard on an arcade machine. It was normally 3 lives, 10,000, I think, and the easy setting of the game. Now, people moaned about this, and Numskull have actually released an update patch, which I've done to this cap. That's what you saw me playing, the 3 level version, 3 lives version, easy set, and extra life and 10,000. Now, doing the upgrade was really easy. And if you follow my mate Dean Swain from Retro Asylum's video on that, which I did to do it, it's really easy. And I'll put a link in the show notes for this. Now, you will need a micro USB cable to do the upgrade. And the one that comes with it is only a charging cable. You need an I/O cable, input-output. And most people have got them lying around. And I think a lot of phone chargers do it. So if you do it, the software will tell you if you've got the right cable. So it's not difficult to do at all. It's really easy. I could do it. Numskull have also released 2 different upgrades for this, the 3 lives and the 5 lives one. I think they fixed some of the software glitches as well. And I played this for quite a while and couldn't find anything wrong with it at all. It's brilliant. Now, the conclusion of this machine, they're available from a place called geekstore.com. I'll put the link in the show notes, and £149.99. But all future releases, including the impending release of Gallagher very soon, are going to be £129.99, and all the machines from then on will be £129.99. Now, they're not cheap. They're really not. The Walmart ones are like $20 in America. But, you know, you can sort of play a functional game of it, but it's not the original Pac-Man, not Arcade Perfect Pac-Man. So the price point on this, there is a but, and it is a big but. £150 is quite a lot of money, but this thing is really nice. It's really well nailed together. It's brilliant. It's good. Just look at it. Look at it. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? And it does feel pretty good. Now, it isn't accurate, as I did earlier with my boring vernier. A quarter-size game model and original. It's not a janky cab made up of used on entire plastic parts and same as any other machines they brought out in the range. This is like the proper shape, full-on good thing. Sure, you can play MAME on a computer and you can buy original cabinets if you can find one in the UK. £1,000 for a decent cabinet. It's got to be that much nowadays. You could also, if you're any good at woodwork, make your own half-size, quarter-scale one, whatever you want. Fiddle about with the MAME and Raspberry Pis inside, computers, whatever you want. But to do that, it'd probably exceed £150, to be honest with you. So you might as well get one of these. But also, if you are actually worried about licenses and stuff, because playing emulators isn't quite legal, you've got nothing to worry about this. It's fully licensed. You can play this to your heart's content, and the feds will not be coming around your door. Would I buy one? Well, Pac-Man isn't my favourite game ever. It's really not a favourite of mine, but I quite like it. I mean, everything about Pac-Man is brilliant. The iconography of it, the game looks lovely, it's got iconic sounds. A Ms. Pac-Man with speed up, yeah, I'd think about it. For £130, whatever it's going to be, in the future, I would think about it. Dig Dug, just take my money now. Numskull, take my money. I want a Dig Dug. I would definitely buy Dig Dug because it's my favourite game. But so the same thing goes with Phoenix, Bosconian, Space Invaders. I'd have those in a heartbeat. So serious collectors will lap these up, I think, mainly for the quality and the fact you can actually play these things properly. There's no squinting and fudging controls like with the little ones. And I think it would be a welcome addition to any arcade meet, or maybe on a counter at a barcade, something like that. Bolted down though, no one wants to run off with it. And I think I will actually take this one to the next meeting I go to, whether it be a commercial meeting or a friend's house, and see what people think of it there. I think it's going to be a hit. Now, I do happen to know that Numskull are planning on doing a Dig Dug in the future, and I have actually offered my free testing time already, oddly enough. I'm also going to a launch party in the next couple of weeks for the next Quarter Arcade game, and that's going to be Galaga, which is a massive popular game with other people, and it's a Stone Cold classic. Hopefully I'll get one of those to review as well, but I'm not sure. I'm going to put forward some suggestions for future releases, some kind of dip switch settings on the inside maybe, so you can change lives, difficulty, and on some games even cheat functions like the speed up I mentioned earlier. Now, some arcades back in the day actually had hacks done to the PCBs to enable those things. Fast pack, different graphics for mazes perhaps, all sort of good stuff like that you found a bit weird in the arcade. And I think sort of these little helps, especially the cheats, would help little kids play it maybe. Maybe have unlimited lives or something so they get good at it. Now, I have heard from Numskull recently, from to and from some emails, they are releasing dip switches with Galaga, and it's going to come, I'm not sure, I think it's a software setting you do in it, but it's going to come in the printed instructions anyway, and I've been sent some printed instructions. It looks really nice. So hopefully in the future we get dip switch settings as well. Before I go, there's only one gripe I have with this machine, and that is no speed up hack, because I'm a dirty, cheating get. So thanks for watching, and I hope you get to play one, enjoy one. Thanks a lot.